Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Kol Halayim La, Alahaya Nabu, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akimai who pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Lord, willing upon all your houses. So I'm gonna try and code word this as much as possible. But yeah, man, you see the title, man. It says China is building a chain of giant Crown Vic Royale facility centers, man. And I'm just gonna say the word facility, that Q word, you know. So bear with me. I'm gonna just read the article, and then I just grab a precept or two, man. Lord will, it's edifying, however the Spirit wants to go about it, we'll go about it. But yeah, man, this is gonna be centered around, where that basically that time, where people are gonna be thrown into prison for ultimately not complying with, this NWO that is going to be established, or going to be pushed, man, not established but pushed. You know, we're already starting to see the buildup of it, but we're starting to see more of it, man. And China is not the only one that's doing these things, man, building these facilities like this, man. You had Australia, which is a huge part of a huge, basically a pivot point, for the elites to push their agenda, man. They're using Australia as a test dummy, to run through, or to run certain simulations there before they bring it to America, man. And we're starting to see, another place that's ultimately, mass producing these places, man. So I'm gonna start reading this article, and then I'm gonna grab precept, and then we'll get out of here. It says that China is asking city governments to create specialized facilities that can house thousands of overseas arrivals as the country continues to take a zero tolerance approach to keeping out the Crown Vic Royale. Now, ultimately they're saying to Slakia, huh? Slakia. They're saying to keep out the Crown Vic Royale, but we know ultimately this is, centered around those that are not going to take the jab, because just like here in America, they have a separation, a division going on between the jabbed and the unjabbed, man. Whereas a lot of things are ultimately opening up, or shutting down to those that are unjabbed, and opening up to those that are jabbed. And if they're already open and they're already, allowing the unjabbed, guess what they're doing? They're closing the doors to the unjabbed, man. So things are getting very separate, man. Which again, the scriptures talk about, if a city, if Satan be divided against Satan, then Slakia. Let me grab that. I don't want to misquote it, man. You know. But if it says, if a kingdom be divided against each other, kingdom be divided. If kingdom be divided, then it shall not stand, man. Then it cannot stand. Let me get that. Slakia. I got that 16:11. Let me look it up. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So we're looking, we're ultimately seeing that that there being a separation, that this is the, stages of, America ultimately going down at the end of this rulership, man. Because because of that separation that they're ultimately making, which is ultimately gonna aid in their system crumbling, you know. Um, But yeah, which again, we're seeing this happen all over the place, man. Not just China is building these facilities, but you also got Australia, even America, man. Over in New York, you got Tennessee, which signed an executive order 83, which talks about these facilities ultimately being constructed, and then you got health facilities, ultimately being transformed into these facilities, you know, behavioral health facilities, So, actually, we're going to keep reading. It says local authorities have until the end of October to convert, right, or build the hubs. And again, going back to Executive Order 83, they're converting health, behavioral health buildings as well as other different, healthcare buildings into these facilities, man, which is what they're doing over there in China, man. So we see these things, happening openly in these other countries, but right under our noses, America's ultimately doing the same thing here, man. It says National Health Commission official Koi Gang told a briefing this week that the requirement for at least 20 rooms. Slacky, man. Very long day. Very long day. Slacky. It says with a requirement for at least 20 rooms for every 10,000 residents, the goal is to prevent the country's facilities from becoming scattered and disorganized, Koi said. Right? So this is 20 buildings, not 20 rooms, but 20 buildings. You see how many in this picture right here. You see that there's, multiple different buildings. Each one is ultimately capable or design, or their ultimate goal is to house at least 500 residents per building. Now you count, just how many buildings are here in the picture. Going from front to back, left to right. Um, this is thousands upon thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of residents, man. It says cities will also need to provide a list of backup accommodation locations to ensure the effectiveness of the facility systems, Koi said. The move comes as an outbreak of the DV slows in the northern Chinese city of Harbin, near the Russia border, an earlier flare-up in the southeastern Fujian province looks to be contained. The highly contagious Cyrus strain breached a country that has some of the world's toughest scamdemic measures, making it a standard barrier for the so-called Crown Vic Royale Zero strategy that aims to snuff out all diseases. The approach, which helped countries like China, Slovakia, New Zealand, and Singapore, and minimize deaths for most of the scamdemic, is now being questioned as other parts of the world start to open up despite ongoing cases. Critics say it is isolationist and less effective against a more transmissible DV. It says China currently requires all returning travelers to basically isolate for at least 14 days, with few exceptions for those who are jabbed up. The new facility centers will be put into service in batches, Koi said. Cities that typically see a substantial number of inbound travelers and port cities with high numbers of imported Crown Vic Royale cases should construct medical observation health stations, he said, and build large facilities that can be put to use in emergency situations. So their whole goal is to ultimately throw these people, in large number in these facilities, man. It says China's current facilities, which are mostly limited to hotels, will be closely inspected to make sure they meet certain standards in terms of location, layout, and facilities in order to prevent cross disease, he said. Now, when you go into... Man, I hate this flush. I hate this fucking flush. But anyways, man, when you go into that when you go into that executive order, 83, that Tennessee ultimately signed into, just signed, which I think was like a month and a half back, maybe even 2 months. When you read it, because I read it, y'all can go look it up. Executive Order NO.83, Tennessee, and you go and it's kind of like a PDF. When you go and you read it, And really, all you gotta do is read the last three paragraphs. There's 20. I think there's 20 paragraphs. You read paragraph 18, 19, and 20. 20. I don't know why I said it like that, but 20. You ultimately, it goes into explaining that these facilities that are going to be converted, that their inspection of the actual facility itself is going to be is suspended, and the inspection of whether the building itself is up to par, to be able to, as far as like health code or stuff like that. All the inspections of the building are suspended, as well as those that work in these facilities that are going to be ultimately converted. Their license is going to be suspended as well, or not. It's like the suspicion. It's like an inspection of their license is going to be suspended as well. So they're not going to ultimately look into, okay, this person is qualified to work here, their license is still up to par, this, that, and the third. They're not going to worry about any of that, man. Which is ultimately, you're starting to see that the military is starting to be put in certain places, man. Take over, healthcare workers, and because a lot of healthcare workers are quitting, they're going to take over, bus drivers, because a lot of bus drivers are quitting. They're going to take over, food transport, because a lot of truck drivers are quitting. And we're starting to see that a lot of military is ultimately being put in place of, these professionals, man. So they have to suspend the license of a lot of these people and not be able to inspect them, because you got medical, like, or not the MPs, but the medics and stuff like that are out in the field. Hey, these same people that are basically trained in basic, bare minimum, what do you want to call it, tactics to take care of somebody, that has an injury or whatever. They're going to be taking the spot of these trained doctors, man. So they're nowhere near qualified to be able to take over these positions. Well, guess what, man? They don't need them to be trained in these positions, because they don't care. Once you get into these facilities, you kind of asked out, man. Because come here soon, these facilities are basically going to be, a pivot point for whether you get to partake in society, or whether you be put to death, man. Because a while back, I want to say about a year and a half ago, maybe even a little bit longer than that, the government, American government, was buying up these guillotines, man. And buying up massive lands and stuff like that. Because we know, Jacob's trouble is right around the corner. We know that this whole plan to ultimately rule out, this NWO, this New World Order, is coming here soon, man. And those that don't want to comply, with this New World Order, they're ultimately going to be put to death, man. Which right now, they're fulfilling, what is it, Revelation 13 and 15, and as many of those that would not worship the beast should be killed. Again, going into that word "killed" means to be separate. The root word of that, the Hebrew word apoktino, which goes into apo, which apo means to what, man? Or not the Hebrew word, the Greek word apoktino, which the root word of that is apo, which goes into what? To separate. To separate by distance, man. So social. It started with social distancing, and now they're ultimately removing you out of society by making it, if you don't have this jab, you can't participate in society. You can't go to work. Which means you can't buy or sell. Which again, this is leading up to the actual rollout of the MARK of the beast, which is the RFID chip. Because that's when they're really gonna say, hey, you cannot participate in society. Because basically this is what it's leading to. When you go into these facilities, because you don't want to take the jab, this is what they're gonna offer you, man. They're gonna offer you a jab. You don't want to take the jab, they're gonna offer you the RFID chip, man. In order to go back into society or die, man. They're gonna do everything that they can, man. When they get you in these facilities, they might separate you and your family. They might beat you down to a bloody fucking pulp. They might do anything and everything they can for you to ultimately obey, their system that they're trying to establish, man. these devils are gonna get ruthless, man. You know, they're like I said, they're gonna come down having great wrath, man. You know, it's not gonna be easy. You know, you're not gonna get into these facilities, and it's, you know, they're gonna hand you you know a chocolate chip cookie and some milk, you know, and turn on one of your favorite movies, man, and try to entice you, sit down and try to entice you to, you know, to follow in you know, in this way of life that they want you to follow. Slack you. Yeah, man, no, it's gonna be bad, man. You know, it's not gonna be easy. You know, which again, you know, it's the hour of temptation. That's gonna be a time where your faith in Yahweh Shem Shai is gonna be tried, man. You know, but let's grab this. You know, I just got one precept, so we'll ultimately grab that and we'll get out of here. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which shall suffer." Right? The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai told us not to fear, man. You know, he said in 2 Timothy's. Matter before I finish that, I'll grab that. This is 2 Timothy's chapter 1, verse 7. It says, "For the Most High hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." That's why it tells us not to fear. You know, going back to Revelations chapter 2, chapter 2 and verse 10, it says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer." Right? Because, you know, when we get put in these facilities, it's going to be nothing but suffering, man. You know, it's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be harsh. You know, which when you go through a test, it's not made to be easy. You know, you got some tests out there, you know, that if you study for it, you know, then it becomes easy. You know. Well, this one, you know, we can study and study and study, and no matter how much we study, this is going to be a hard test, man. You know, but Lord will, if we keep praying, hold fast to the faith that we have right now. Hey, guess what? It's not going to be that hard. It's going to be hard, but it's not going to be that hard, man. You know, we're gonna go through some things that we've never been through in this life. You know, like having our family be used against us, possibly having to watch your family, you know, be killed in front of you. You know, have your you know, have all manners of wicked ass things and evil things happen to you to ultimately entice you to, you know, to follow in that new world order, to turn away, you know, from the laws of Yahweh Bashim Shai, man. You know, so a lot of things are gonna happen. That's why it tells you to fear none of these things, man. Why? Because ultimately these things are to try you into, you know, to get you to fall off that path, man. You know, if they kill your family, hey, well, guess what, man? We know that we're gonna get our family back in the kingdom, man. You know, because all it is, they died for Yahweh Shem Shai's sake, man. You know, so they were ultimately, you know, martyrs for Yahweh Shem Shai, you know, so to speak, man. You know, so they're part of the elect. They're sealed at that moment, man. You know, so we have nothing to fear. We know that they ultimately, you know, were glorified, you know, for dying for Yahweh Shem Shai. So we can't fear none of these things, man. It says, "Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison." It says some, you know, because, you know, some brothers, you know, might just, you know, as soon as they go to lay hands on us, you know, some brothers just, you know, buck up so much that, you know, one, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai also wrote it in their lot to be killed, so they might just get killed right then and there, you know, or some brothers might escape, you know, by the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, him sending down an angel, or him lifting up that standard, as it says in Isaiah 59:19. He raises up that standard, you know, which is, you know, could be them getting spiritual powers to be delivered, or to deliver themselves out of, you know, out of that situation, or Yahweh Shem Shai ultimately sending down an angel to deliver them out of that situation. You know, not everybody's going to be thrown in these camps, but a lot of brothers are. You know, it says, "The devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried." Because again, this is going to be a trial period, man. You know, it's going to be Jacob's trouble in the hour of temptation. When brothers get thrown into prison, into these facilities, it's going to be the hour of temptation. You know, which is not literally an hour, but it's a period of time when people, you know, the faith of the world is going to be tried. You know, but only the elect, 144,000 elect men, and the rest of the elect, you know, the 1/3, which consists of men, women, and children, hey, guess what? Their faith is going to, you know, ultimately get them through that test, man. They're going to pass that test with flying colors, man. You know, It says, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which is the number 10, is the number of completion. So it could be 2 days, it could be even an hour, it could be even a month, you know. That's why it says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life, because we have to hold fast to the faith that Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah has given us, man. If we want to make it to the end, if we want to be able to endure to the end, we have to, no matter what happens, man, we have to hold fast to this truth, man. And some people, you might be feeling low in the spirit, but that's why you got to pray to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah that he give you increase in faith, increase in the fear, increase in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because in those times, Isaiah 33 and 6 is going to come to play, man, where it says wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of thy times, man. That's why it tells you, fear not, man, because you're gonna be brought back to this scripture, the wisdom of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah is going to be activated in you, and you're going to be like, okay, well, scriptures tell me not to fear, to fear not, as well as Sirach 2 and 2. It says, make not haste in the time of trouble. So when trouble arises, we're going to be good, man, because the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, going back to 2 Timothy 1 and 7, he gave us not the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And that's, that's something that a lot of people don't have, man. When trouble arises, they don't have a sound mind. They ultimately break down, and they don't know what to do. Well, in those days, we're gonna know what to do, man. And what we're gonna do is gonna rely on Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. We're gonna hold fast or to that faith that Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah has ultimately gifted to us, and we're gonna move in wisdom, man, according to the faith of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. So again, fear none of those things, but also suffer, man. Because Lord will part of the elect. Hey, guess what, man? We're gonna make it out of those situations, man. We're gonna make it out of, if it's His will, we're gonna make it out of, those facilities, man. Hey, man, we're gonna get out of this, man. Lord will part of the elect. Hey, we're gonna beat this, man, and ultimately we're gonna end up on those chariots, man. And then we're gonna put these nations into subjection, man, under our feet, man. Starting with Yahweh Shai, King David, the 144,000, and the rest of the elect, man. They're going to be under us, man. So fear none of these things, which are to come, nor the things which we shall suffer when these things do come. Amen. Hold fast to the faith, man. Having that faith, like it says in 2 Esdras, the 9th chapter, starting at the 7th verse, it says, "Ye shall be saved, whereby ye have by faith and by your works, whereby ye have believed," man. So our faith, and that's proving our faith, and that's building up, that's depositing into that spiritual bank account, that when these times come, we're going to be able to withdraw, man, and we're going to be good, smooth criminal in those days, man. So with that being said, that's all I really got. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, Bashim Al-Kakadash. Again, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim out here pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. May the election Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, the one upon all your houses. I want to say, Kwame Yashua and Baba Ball. Shalom.